If you're in the market for an estate, then the Skoda Octavia Estate is a car you should be considering, particularly as 2017 has seen it receive a welcome facelift, giving it a new grille, LED headlights and new tail lights. And while that great blend of practicality and price makes the whole range appealing, there's one model in particular that really grabs my attention, the vRS. I'm a bit of a sucker for a punchy estate. You know, I just love that whole wolf in sheep's clothing thing. On the one hand, they're practical, easy to live with, they're great all-rounders, but then they come with just enough performance to ensure that those Monday morning school runs don't get too dull. There's a choice of engines, one petrol, one diesel, shared of course across the VW group, which keep things lively. The petrol engine is the same as the 2-litre turbocharged unit you'll find in the VW Golf GTI, and thanks to that facelift it now produces 227 brake horsepower, so it's very fast. 0 to 62 takes 6.8 seconds, or 7 seconds if you go for the DSG automatic gearbox. The diesel offers 180 brake horsepower and can sprint from 0 to 62 in 8 seconds, whilst its top speed is 143 miles per hour. Opt for four-wheel drive, and the extra grip means a quicker 0 to 62 time of 7.7 seconds, whilst a 242 brake horsepower version will soon sit at the top of the lineup, getting from 0 to 62 in just 6.7 seconds. Well, let's put performance to one side for a minute and focus on practicality. Just because this vRS version is meant to be sportier, that does not mean that you have to compromise on either passenger or storage space. The boot is as huge as the cavernous one on the standard model. Look, it has enough room for the Carbuyer suitcases, and you can even squeeze a presenter in here as well. It's absolutely massive. Now you can probably see just behind the suitcases, the back seats come with a ski hatch, which is very handy, and they actually fold down with just the flip of a little lever there. Really easy and simple to do. Now, okay, they don't fold completely flat, but it would be churlish to moan about that because there is so much of the good stuff going on back here. You've got loads and loads of little parcel hooks, fantastic lighting, which is really handy, really bright at night. And tucked away behind me down there is a 12-volt power switch. And when you've had enough of lounging around in the boot of your car, you can get out and close it with that little simple grab handle. So all good in there. Now, you know, I always think that the difference between a good car and a great car is the little things, and Skoda have given so much thought to those. Take this, let's have a look at this. In here, you've got an eye scraper hidden away for those winter mornings. How thoughtful is that? There's also a holder on the windscreen to display your parking tickets in. Those in the back seat get lots of legroom, whilst the flat rear seat is comfortable enough for 3 people, even if they're tall, and those large side windows help create an airy feel. I do think it's a shame that whilst this car scores so well when it comes to practicality, it doesn't feel a bit more special in here. You know, it feels solid, it feels really well built. Of course it does, it's a car from the Volkswagen group, you would expect that. But it just doesn't have those little touches that would set the vRS apart. Okay, you get the nice chunky 3-spoke steering wheel and some nice vRS badging here and also on the seats. And of course you do get these special vRS sport seats. But really, other than that, it just feels like the standard car, and the overwhelming feeling in here is that you are just encompassed with black, which is everywhere. One thing I do really like though, actually, is this new infotainment screen. You know, the resolution on it is fantastic. It links up to CarPlay, and whilst it can be a bit fiddly at first, once you've got your head around it, it's really easy to navigate and simple to use. You really need to get out on the open road to appreciate the differences that the vRS badge offers. Now, for a start, it comes with sport suspension, which is stiffer than the setup in the normal Octavia Estate. As a result, you do feel bumps in the road slightly more, but it's still surprisingly comfortable for a car that offers such speed. Now, the vRS Estate is available with optional 19-inch alloy wheels, which this model is fitted with. I think they look absolutely great. You know, they really transform the look of this. Of course, they make the ride noticeably firmer, but it's also a little bit jittery, which does get a tad annoying when you're doing, you know, the practical stuff like pottering around town. And then the downside of that is that when you're enjoying the performance at speed, the tyre noise from those wheels is also annoyingly intrusive too. If you're after a little more entertainment from your drive, then you'll probably want to press the vRS button. This changes the exhaust note and it just sharpens up the throttle response whilst adding extra weight to the steering for more feel. And if you're after more thrills, consider the optional dynamic chassis control system, which of course this also has. Now what it does, it allows you to firm up the suspension when you want a sportier drive and then loosen it off when you don't. Overall, this is a fast and it's a competent performer, but maybe it's not as much fun to drive as a Ford Focus ST Estate, say. But it does have plenty of grip and composure, and that impressive, comfortable ride, it just makes it a superb motorway cruiser. I do have a bit of a problem with this DSG gearbox though. It feels hesitant and quite jerky when you're driving around town at lower speeds. And again, that just becomes irritating over time. You constantly feel like you should be changing up and you're not. I think the Precise 6-speed manual option is a far better thing to go for in this car. Back to the practical stuff, and Skoda has long been a star in the customer satisfaction surveys. Whilst it also has a strong safety record, with the facelifted 2017 Octavia adding new safety features, including autonomous emergency braking and blind spot monitoring, which also makes reversing out of parking spaces safer. All in all, this is a hard car to fault. It's not a car that's going to grab you in an emotional way. It's far too level-headed for that. But it is an excellent all-rounder, delivering exactly what it promises at a sensible price. If you're interested in the Octavia, then make sure you check out some of its main rivals. Click to watch our Peugeot 308 review or take a look at our hatchback playlist. Click the logo to subscribe and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.